What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of High Mythology. High Mythology.
Clearly high.
Yeah, the show where we get higher than a goat-drawn chariot and tell you guys some mythology stories. So, today we're doing a few stories about Apollo and the Hym of Hermes.
Going back to Greek.
Hemming it up a little bit. Hemming.
So I had a conversation with a coworker the other day, and I asked her, what if the Greek mythology was the dominant religion? Who do you think we would pray for? No?
Yeah, I think us for sure. Yeah, no, we're Apollo.
Without a
sure.
doubt,
Yeah.
we're Apollo. My coworker would have been Hestia, by the way.
Uh-huh.
She's a kind soul.
I know a lot of Dionysus peoples.
Yeah, I mean, I found it hard because I've always personally admired Hermes the most, and he's the most entertaining in my eyes. He tells the most bizarre stories.
Hermes is a wild motherfucker.
But this episode,
he made magic. That's something we'll probably talk about later too, though.
But this episode is mainly about a couple of relationships that Apollo had, and his relationship with his half-brother Hermes. So I'm just going to begin. Apollo isn't pretty, perfect, golden boy that everyone seems to think he is.
Golden boy.
He's kind of a dick sometimes, and he loses his temper.
Yeah, he's fiery.
I feel for him, though. I'm kind of the same way.
He's fiery hot. Laid on the buttons.
Nice. So anyway, one day, Apollo is teasing Eros, which is also known as Cupid, telling him that his archery is weak.
You ain't got shit.
You got weak skills, man. Some noodle arms. You can't hit your target.
Tiny little fucking Valentine's February holiday having bitch.
So Eros had had enough, and he decided to play a trick on the proud seducer. Apollo went to visit with his sister Artemis, and she is with her large clan of virgin women hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some bad bitches.
Eros follows Apollo there and strikes Apollo's heart with a golden arrow, which will make its victim fall hopelessly in love. Eros then struck one of Artemis's hunters, a river nymph named Daphne, with a lead arrow straight into her heart.
Lead arrow straight
The lead
to
arrow will leave
Shot
the heart,
to the heart
immune to the feelings of love.
Oh, no love for Daphne.
Straight. So Apollo had fallen head over heels for Daphne, and for weeks Apollo tried to court her, but she refused, and she felt nothing for him.
I feel nothing.
I can also relate to that girl. You know what I mean? Men. Fucking dogs. As I will explain. To avoid Apollo's persistent advances, she flees, and Apollo takes chase after her, just like a dog seeing a squirrel.
Squirrel!
So Daphne runs through the forest, and she runs and runs until her strength fails her, and she collapses on the banks
Oh, dude.
of the Peneus River.
You are getting a little rapey there, Apollo.
Apollo was closing in on her, and she, in her desperate attempt to get away, begs her father for help. Her father was a god of that river named Peneus, and he heard his daughter's plea and emerges from the river and points his scepter at his daughter's heart, right where Eros had struck her with his lead arrow. And so Daphne begins to feel her body stiffen. Her skin was turning into rough bark. Her arms stretched out into branches. Her feet enrooted themselves into the warm grasp of the river's edge, and her blood became sap.
Tree.
Her father transformed her into a laurel tree, and Apollo rushes to her, but it was too late. He could only embrace the laurel tree and feel Daphne's heartbeat through the bark.
Oh, the laurels.
So Apollo was beaten and broken, and he takes a branch from Daphne's laurel tree and decides that
Fucks
day. And he decides that from that day that the tree would be a sacred symbol to him, and he would decorate his lyre with it, and don it upon the heads of poets.
Yeah, you see the laurels on my lyre?
I mean, I think it's
laurel
funny
lyre.
that he even knows what a lyre is yet.
Because he doesn't find out until later.
Right.
Yeah.
Hermes hasn't
Spoiler
even been
alert.
born yet. Yeah. Yeah.
Or has he? You never know. Huh?
Yeah, that's what makes it so hard.
Yeah.
Do you think it hurt Daphne when Apollo took that branch? Like
I
he
think
snapped
it
off
hurt.
her
I think
finger or some shit?
I think it was really weird for her watching him fuck that branch. It was even weirder for her dad, because he was still standing right there.
So, kind of poor Apollo, right?
Yeah.
Not really.
He got dick splinters.
I guess this moral of the story should be don't fuck
The
with
laurel
Cupid.
of the story, huh?
The laurel of the story. Nice. Yeah.
Don't fuck with Cupid. But who was the better archer in the end?
Apollo's still pretty damn good
Yeah,
with
he's
it.
good with
You know,
that
he
bow.
took 14 arrows and took out 14 kids.
Jesus.
Well, with fairness, that
Yeah.
bitch. Don't make fun of his mom.
Would you like to have a target competition? Yes, I would. Okay, whoever shoots the most children wins. Go. Oh my God, no. Yeah.
Like that thing was a different thing on his own. There was some bitch that was
Yeah.
who had an affair with Zeus, and she never bore Zeus any children, so she banged some king and gave birth to like 14 children. And then she was like boasting. She was like, "Oh, Leto, she only had 2 kids. Look at me, I got 14." I'm like, Leto was, wasn't really a willing participant in Zeus's advantages and only had Apollo and Artemis. And so Apollo heard and he got pissed. So he was like, "Fuck you, bitch. I'm going to kill 14, all your fucking kids on the same day."
Yeah.
And then so she wept and wept, and then Zeus felt sorry for her, so he turned her into a rock that still weeps water.
A weeping rock.
That's a short story of that, by the way. That's a special. That's a special side.
Yeah, we didn't even expect to get into that
I didn't
one.
even fucking,
but
yeah.
That's where the white rock comes from.
So, yeah. Years later, years and years go by, and Apollo falls in love, naturally, to another mortal. Her name was Coronis. She was the daughter of the king of Thessaly.
Hey, you want to have a threesome with me in this branch?
Anyway, she soon becomes pregnant with Apollo's child. And Apollo is a god and has godly duties, so he must perform them. And he cannot always be with Coronis.
Bye.
So he leaves a white raven to watch over her while he is away. During one of Apollo's absence, Coronis falls for the charms of a young mortal man named Ischus.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
The raven flies back to tell Apollo to inform him of his lover's affair.
Dude, while you're at work?
I know, he's up there in Olympus.
Out there doing
like,
your
fucking
godly
shit up.
duties?
Apollo was so overwhelmed with rage and jealousy that he took aim with his bow and arrow and shot down the white raven.
Aw.
As the raven fell from the heavens,
On.
that's a poor fucking example.
That is a poor bird.
As the raven fell from the heavens, it turned black. And you know what? There's actually a Native American story about that I've been wanting to do.
It doesn't go the other way, though.
No.
Oh.
It's white, and it becomes black.
Yeah.
Just like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Future episode, folks. Stay tuned. Anyway, Apollo then finds his lover in the arms of Ischus, and Apollo shoots them both down, killing them. As Apollo laid Coronis out on the funeral pyre, he plucks from her breast his living son, and then burns her body.
Oh, dick move.
He names the boy Asclepius.
Asclepius.
This demigod was the symbol of medicine, and he would learn the greatest secrets it's held. Asclepius soon proves to be so gifted he single-handedly discovers one of the most incredible and important remedies: how to resuscitate the dead.
Oh, shit. I thought it was going to be those pills that they sell online that make your junk bigger.
Viagra?
No, the ones that just make it bigger.
Enhancement?
Yeah.
Enhancements.
Natural
He probably
male.
fucking has that
He
too.
discovered natural male enhancement.
He has been told stories of where he has He's been told in stories where he has resuscitated Orion, Hippolytus, King Darius, and Lycaris.
Fuck yeah.
So he's been in a lot of stories. I want to get to Orion one day too.
Orion, yeah. And Hippolyta.
Hippolytus.
Yeah.
So Hades, the commander of the underworld, was furious with Apollo's son. Asclepius was upsetting the balance between the gods and mortals. You're fucking with the Fate Sisters' golden thread, yo.
You're fucking with the sisters, bro.
So Hades goes to Zeus and demands that Asclepius must not carry on.
He must be clipped.
Can't keep saving people's lives. His actions have gone too far. And Zeus agrees with Hades and strikes down Asclepius with his thunderbolt,
Thunder!
killing poor Asclepius.
Oh.
Apollo became engulfed with despair. His own father took his son's life.
I know. And did anyone know? That's his grandpa.
Grandkid. Yeah, dude.
Dude, Grandpappy Zeus, what the fuck?
Apollo decided that he needed to avenge his son and take out the vengeance on Zeus. So Apollo finds the Cyclopses that forged the Olympian gods' weapons and killed them all one by one.
Dick move.
Also dick move, yeah, that's his uncles.
Yeah.
His
Why
actions,
don't they just take up their problems with each other?
I don't know. It's called fucking court.
I know.
His actions definitely got Zeus's attention, and Zeus was pissed as shit. So Zeus decides, as punishment, Apollo would be sent to the most cursed corner of Tartarus. But Apollo's mother, Leto, intervenes, and she begs Zeus for mercy. Zeus still loves Leto and agreed to soften the punishment, and Apollo will become the slave for 1 year. He will serve the king of Thessaly as a simple shepherd.
Shepherd.
This is where it gets kind of confusing for me,
That's not a bad punishment, though. I mean, compared to, it's interesting how his son got murdered, the Cyclopses got murdered, and he just got 7 years of shepherd duty.
Well, technically he's, and in that time, Hermes is born. That's the next part of the story.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and it's while he's a shepherd, you know what I mean? So he's got to bang Hermes, your mom, and then, yeah, I don't get it.
Wait, Hermes?
Because he has to be a shepherd. How, in the next story, how is he supposed to go to, I don't know. Okay, I'm fucking.
I don't know.
I'm confusing myself. I'm sorry. I'm getting
ahead
into
of yourself, lady.
I'm getting into it.
Get back on
I'm
track
sorry.
here, Stony.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Smoke too much goddamn pot.
As you smoke a giant bong. There you go. Nice.
Keep on with your story. I'm listening.
Can I smoke a hit too? Because
Tonight's presentation has been brought to you by marijuana.
fabulous. I smoked the pandemic special.
Making people take short breaks since 1925.
Woo.
Woo.
So Zeus has an affair with a goddess which is a Pleiade named Maya.
Maya Pleiades.
She is one of the 7 Pleiades sisters, the daughters of the god Atlas. They were pursued for many years by the hunter god Orion. And that is also another story for another time. While in hiding from Orion, Maya sought refuge in the south of Arcadia, far from the gazes of Orion and Hera, Zeus's legitimate wife. Bitch, if you ever did that to me. No.
I'll bang god or Titan daughter.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Yeah, no, I would.
Atlas.
That would be the one time. I think I would get away with that too. I'd be like, she's literally a Greek deity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there, Maya stayed in a cave on Mount Selene for 9 months, and she gave birth to Hermes, Zeus's last illegitimate son. When Hermes was born, his mother wrapped him in swaddling cloth, as is tradition.
As is tradition.
And placed him in a wicker basket, as is tradition.
As is tradition.
And was appointed a nymph as a wet nurse.
As is tradition.
And Hermes was not like other newborn babies.
He didn't want that goat's milk.
Hours after his birth, he could already walk and talk, taking advantage of his mother's absence.
Where did his mom go, too?
Dude, she's one of the Pleiades. That's part of, like, helping hold up the earth. She got work to do.
Yeah.
She's already been making
She don't get maternity leave?
She don't. No, she's
and
been making...
this is why we need to push for maternity leave reform.
She had 9 months off to give birth.
She had 9 months off to be
Her
pregnant.
sisters had to fucking help take care. I know, that's right. It's true. Well, you can't do shit while you're fucking pregnant.
Yeah.
So anyway, taking advantage
You can't
of
hold
his
up the earth
mother's...
while you're pregnant.
I guess. Taking advantage of his mother's absence, he slips out of the cave and sets off down the road. He comes upon Thessaly, where his older brother Apollo was put in charge of a magnificent herd of livestock.
Look at that goat herding little bitch.
No, it's sheep.
Oh,
no,
sheep.
it's cattle.
Oh, it's cattle.
Yeah, he's got
cattle.
cattle.
Sheep.
I said livestock, bitch. You went automatically for goats.
Went for goats. Well, you know, honestly, too, why would let's take a minute to delve a little deeper into that. Why would I go for goats? Of all the creatures that you could be herding, when do you ever see a fucking goat herder? Behold the goat shepherd on the hill.
Yeah.
His luxurious herd of goats.
That's just what you imagined, I guess.
He keeps them for their goat's wool and goat's milk.
I feel like you came from an island.
An island of goats?
Mm-hmm. Hawaii. Yeah. Maybe. So the herd belonged to King Admetus. Apollo looked after 100 fabulous heifers that had golden horns.
He loves them heifers.
While Apollo was off seducing men and women alike, totally neglecting his duties, Hermes looks around and sees no one. This opportunity was too good to pass up. For Hermes, the theft was easy, but leaving no clues was the hard part.
Fucking Hermes.
To cover his tracks, Hermes covered his feet with foliage to conceal
foliage.
his...
Foliage.
Foliage.
Foliage. I just pictured a little newborn with tinfoil shoes walking through the woods, butt ass naked.
He wrapped his feet in leaves to conceal his steps. Foliage. Sorry. Foliage. I guess I just wrote it out wrong. And then Hermes forced the heifers to walk backwards all the way.
Back it up, ladies.
To Mount Pylos, a remote spot in the Penelopes.
I heard that he actually did it by just playing that song back that ass up on a loop.
I mean, it might have worked. Hermes had to be sure that no one was around. So after double-checking the surrounding area to make sure no one would surprise him, to carry favor from the god...
Okay, what?
Yeah, he was just double-checking his surroundings. And then he decided he was going to carry favor from the gods and sacrifice 2 heifers into 12 equal parts.
Add pee in the cup that Apollo drinks out of.
He then burned the carcasses and hid the herd behind a hill before heading home.
Jesus, that is a fucking sentence. Hid the herd behind a hill before heading home.
Jesus, yes. Yeah, that was. Okay.
Yeah, the hidden herd of heifers was hard to find.
When Hermes made it home, Just outside the cave entrance, he noticed a tortoise lounging in the sun. He picks it up and empties its entrails, and leaving only the hollow shell.
Shell.
He
I
then-
wonder, I like to think, just to be nice, I like to think that it was upside down. So it was like it was already going to die.
I said it was sunbathing. So maybe.
It was in the sun. But if it fell over upside down, like that thing's
I'm
gone,
sure it would have said
you
it
know?
was struggling to get up and cried out for help. And Hermes just laughed and kicked it.
No, I mean,
That sounds like a story
He
for
pulled
him.
out its guts.
He then takes the guts from the cows that he sacrificed earlier and strings them across the hollow of the shell. The first lyre had just been created.
Liar.
How the fuck did Apollo get that lyre?
That must have happened. No, wait, because
It just says that that's what he dons it on. Is
okay.
his lyre.
Yeah, he probably puts it on the lyre.
Maybe. So
he
he
probably
wraps.
puts the laurels on the lyre when he gets the lyre to get the laurels on it.
Anything he can do
That's
to
a
get that
dirty
laurel in
too.
there.
You don't want to fucking touch that laurel.
Nice. He wraps it in his swaddling clothes and goes to bed as if nothing had happened. Day 1.
Day 1 of his birth.
Steals Apollo's fucking herd that he's supposed to be watching, but he's off fucking groping a man
Steals his herd.
or a chick.
Steals his herd.
He
Apollo's
doesn't
off
care.
banging. His mom still nowhere to be found. Makes a lyre. Yeah. Peas in that cup. Just a little bit.
Meanwhile, back in Thessaly, Apollo soon noticed his herd was missing, and he scours the area, moving heaven and earth, but no luck.
Someone take this laurel out of my ass. I think my herd's gone.
His herd had just vanished into thin air, it seemed. Finally, Apollo had no choice but to call on the satyrs. The satyrs were half goat and half man, but 100% always had an erection.
I'm half man, half goat, but I'm always hard.
It's like their blood is like the main ingredient in Viagra. Probably. So Apollo knew that the satyrs were incredibly greedy, and so he offered them a generous reward if they managed to find his missing herd and track down the culprit.
And I just imagine anytime any regular person has to have a conversation with them, and
How
they're
is he
just
not
standing
looking
there with
down?
just a fucking massive erection, just like, go on, what do you need? I need you to find out.
Jesus. That would be
Can you not
so
point that thing at
disturbing.
me? I can swing it over this way. Swing it over that way. Stop swinging it. That's even worse. Just need you to find something for me. What is it? Or I like
That's how
to
they
also
find
imagine that they all sound like creepy fucking dudes
Probably did.
trying to get off. They all have boners, and anytime you talk to them, even if it's about something normal, like, I have a task for you. What is
Disney's Hercules would have been so awkward.
Oh, yeah, what is it? I mean, they got Danny, or they sound like
It
Danny
would.
DeVito. Either one of those actually works. Either one of those actually works. But just super creepy the whole time, even when they're talking to you about, we can do that. It's just going to cost you like $150.
It would sound like Aquafina.
Can you stop groaning
Oh my
while
god.
we're talking? I can't. I'm a goat person.
Oh my god. All right. So the satyrs accepted and scattered in every direction. They looked in every corner of the world but couldn't find nothing, no clues. They were about to abandon their quest until 3 satyrs heard an unusual melody coming from Mount Selene. Guided by the unknown melody, the satyrs came upon a cave and saw Hermes standing inside. The nymph standing out guard. The nymph was standing guard.
Whoa, guys, put that thing away. There is a kid in there.
So the satyrs question her on what the sound was. She explains to them that there is an unusually gifted child who has fashioned an instrument out of the carcass of a tortoise and the guts of a cow, although she is not sure how the child came to possess the ingredients. As the satyrs were leaving, one of them spotted the carcass of the golden heifers.
Golden heifers.
Mm-hmm. Hermes used
you see that?
the one that Hermes used to sacrifice. I'm going to... Didn't we look up how far Mount Pylos was from Mount Selene? Isn't that like 60 fucking miles?
I think so. I don't remember.
How does a satyr see that far?
The satyr see far.
Well, he sees it right outside his fucking cave window. You know what I
Then
mean?
it's got to be closer than that.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's got to be. But also, they have a erection sight.
It's like
so
a
they
telescope.
can see. It's like a telescope. Can you see anything, brother? Let me check through my dick. Yeah, I see some cow bones.
That's so weird.
You guys are creepy. Can you go back to wherever satyrs live?
So the satyr looks inside the cave and sees just a baby sleeping in the wicker cradle and thinks this can't possibly be the thief. But regardless, the satyrs left and ran back to Apollo to report their findings. Apollo was astonished, for he knew that his stepbrother Hermes lived in that very cave.
It's my stepbrother, that son of a bitch.
Apollo struggled to suppress his anger, but he couldn't hold it in and ran to Maya and demanded that her scoundrel of a son return his missing cattle. Maya points to her child asleep in the basket and tells Apollo that his accusations are absurd. Her newborn baby is incapable of such a crime.
It's a baby.
I just fucking
You
gave
sound
birth to
crazier
him
than
this
those
morning.
guys, the goat men that had boners.
Hermes, who was pretending to be asleep, heard everything and stood up to protest his innocence, saying that he was just a sweet newborn,
Nah, guys.
and his notions of accusation are ridiculous.
Look at me. I'm just a newborn baby over here. Couldn't be me. I couldn't have done it. No. Wah, look, I'm so sweet. I'm just a little baby.
Wow. Apollo would hear no more, and he dragged Hermes outside of his cave, grabbed one of the heads of the burnt golden heifers, and took them both to Zeus. When they arrived on Mount Olympus, it was still not dawn yet, and Zeus was still asleep in his chambers.
Oh, Zeus.
Apollo-
Still passed out. He partied hard last night.
Apollo did not give a flying shit. He bursted into Zeus's room and took him as witness. Zeus found it hard to believe that a newborn baby could complete such a task. But when Apollo threw proof before Zeus's feet, the head of the golden horned heifer, Zeus was finally persuaded. He demanded that Hermes return Apollo's herd without delay. Zeus scolded and lectured Hermes, but deep down he was delighted that he played a trick on the golden child of Olympus. Hermes promised to return Apollo's cattle, but he quickly mentioned to them that there was going to be 2 cattle missing, that he had sacrificed them into 12 equal parts for the 12 gods and goddesses. Apollo and Zeus were surprised. On Olympus, there was only 11 gods and goddesses. Who was the 12th? I am, says Hermes.
This guy over here with 2 thumbs is the 12th.
Apollo is at a loss for words, but Zeus can hardly contain his admiration for the child, who
That
is
is a pretty
proving
baller move right
to
there.
be a very interesting character.
That is a pretty baller move right there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's pretty funny. See what I mean? Like, stories about Hermes are just fucking awesome. I don't know why.
Yeah.
They're funny. As Hermes...
I like to imagine he's casually flipping Apollo off the whole time, too.
Like, slightly scratching the side of his neck.
Yeah. I'm just a baby, though. You know, what do I know? Yeah.
As Hermes was leading Apollo back to his herd's location, he pulls out his lyre and starts to play an improvised tune.
Oh, I know this jab.
It's Metallica, right?
Uh-huh.
Apollo was captivated by the new harmonious sounds.
Yeah.
And Apollo is, after all, the god of artists, poets, and musicians. The song struck a chord in his heart and filled him with wonder, so much so that he quickly forgot his grievances with his little brother, and when they reached the herd, Apollo was hesitant. He was obsessed with the lyre and could not seem to want to part with it, so he proposed to Hermes, "Keep the heifers, and I'll take the lyre." Hermes smiles and accepts his proposition.
I've had that conversation
And
before.
they shake hands. Yeah. Have
Keep
you?
the heifers, I'll take the lyre.
Actually, when you say it like that, that's really funny. Shit, that was funny. Okay, so then Hermes walks over to a bank of reeds and plucks one, and then he carves out a flute and begins to play it.
You want to start a band?
Apollo was dazzled by it. Hermes was a music-producing genius.
Mm-hmm. I hear
Just an
he actually worked with
instrument-producing
Dre
genius.
back in the early days.
Apollo could not help but try to make another deal with Hermes. He says to him, "If you can give me that flute, I will give you this golden staff that I use to command the cattle to graze." This time, however, Hermes tells him that he must have lost his marbles.
Why
Because
do I do
that
their,
is a
their
terrible-
cows? Literally, all they do is graze.
That is a terrible deal. And it seems that by day 2, Hermes had already developed a keen sense of business. He tells Apollo that his flute is worth more than his magical golden staff, but would be willing to trade it if Apollo would teach him to predict the future. Apollo told him that he himself could not teach him, but he could learn it from the same three-eyed that taught him.
The Fate Sisters.
No, they are bee nymphs,
Bee nymphs.
like honeybees, bee nymphs. And they lived in the Temple of Delphos, the sacred temple of Apollo in Delphi. So Hermes seeks them out and receives an education from them. It only took a decade before Zeus summoned Hermes to Mount Olympus. And not long at all for the gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he's
probably-
only like a 10-year-old boy at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah.
I bet he's already making some wheeling and dealing shit, though, too. Like, I've been
Probably. He's
crushing
smart.
it up there. I've been learning from the bees. I've been slinging Adderall to my other co-students.
Shit. When Hermes arrived
These
on
bees
Mount
are
Olympus, Zeus showered Hermes with praise and compliments. And Hermes saw his opportunity. He implored his father to become the god responsible for the securities of the divine properties. In exchange, he promised to never lie again, but added that he might not always be able to tell the whole truth.
I'll never lie again. But
Kind
I
of.
got a liar.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
Zeus laughs but accepts, and so Zeus gives Hermes a magical staff with 2 snakes coiled around it. They represented life and death, Olympus and Tartarus.
Yep. That's also a symbol you see on medical shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Called the
medical symbol.
Caduceus.
Yup.
The Caduceus. He then donned a wide brim hat to protect him from the rain and golden wing sandals to fly like the wind.
Fly like the wind.
All right, I think we're going to stop there because if we go any further, there's another chapter of stories.
Well, I mean, you're going to just cut us off with...
Yeah, because now he's fully part of the gods.
Okay. Well,
He
yeah,
accepted,
that's how he
you know what I
became a
mean?
god.
Yeah. He got his clothes. He's got all of his shit now. He found his wings.
Yeah. So I guess we could call this the Dawn of Hermes Part 1, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come back and do a Part 2 and talk about all the other crazy shit, the really weird shit. Even modern magic associates shit with Hermes. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
With like the modern people who claim to do, I'm doing air quotes right now, magic.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But, yeah. So our resources for this episode were Great Greek Myths, Amazon Prime Original, OxfordUniversity.com. We got all Oxford on y'all bitches.
Yeah, they have a lot of courses on it.
Yeah, of course. And Classical Mythology, Ninth Edition. And the Hym of Hermes, Chapter 12.
That's all from the same book, Classical Mythology.
Classical Mythology, yeah. And, we're going
Find
to
those
touch
all
on
online.
Greeks probably way too often, but from what
They have a
I've
lot of
always heard, the
fascinating
Greek,
stories, but I don't know. I kind of like folktales from
yeah,
everywhere, too.
the Greeks like to get touched on, so. Uh-huh.
So like and subscribe.
Yep. Let us know what you think. Leave us some comments. Give us some suggestions. Seriously, people.
We take requests
If you're listening,
easily.
request something.
We're on there daily. We see
Yeah.
this shit daily.
We will do the research.
Everyone does.
Yeah. If you
Yes.
got something you want to hear about there, just stumble across something and you're like, man, I wish someone else would research this about it and talk about it while making Stone Dash jokes for half an hour. Yeah, put it in the comments, man.
Yeah.
We'll do the work.
We love it.
Yeah, we love it. We have fun with this.
I mean, I already do this daily anyway. I'm just sharing with you
Yeah.
what I already do daily.
So, anyway, yeah. All of you guys have a good night.
Yep.
And you'll hear more of us soon.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.